Welcome to Vsb News Online for Tuesday, January the 6th. I'm Charles Webb. Premier Michael Dunkley was sharply critical of Governor George Ferguson over the reappointment of a non-Bermudian as DPP. Mr. Dunkley felt a Bermudian should have the job and players should take the matter up with the UK government. Meantime, Rory Field has been reappointed for another 2 years to head up the Department of Public Prosecutions. Vsb News' Chris Lodge has the story.
In a statement released last night, Government House said the reappointment was made on the advice of the Judicial and Legal Services Committee. Governor Ferguson saying Mr. Field has made significant achievements during his tenure in the role of DPP to date, from which Bermuda has benefited. I very much welcome his reappointment and look forward to his further contributions over the next 2 years. Last night, a Cabinet Office spokesman said Premier Dunkley is disappointed that a suitably qualified Bermudian has not been appointed. After expressing every intention to appoint a Bermudian DPP in 2007, 2010 and 2013, it is most unfortunate that the process adopted by Government House appears unable to make those intentions a reality. The Cabinet Office confirmed that the Premier had strongly expressed his concern to the Governor and further indicated that he would once again raise the matter with Minister James Duddridge, who is the Parliamentary Under-Secretary of State in London, responsible for Bermuda and the overseas territories. I'm Chris Lodge, Vsb News.
2015 promises to be a very good year for Bermuda's tourism. This according to Bermuda Tourism Authority CEO Bill Hanbury, who held Hamilton Rotarians in rapt attention as he outlined the plans for the island's tourism future. Speaking after lunch with me, he said Bermudians are going to play a very important role in the industry's future.
Many people realize that how we portray Bermuda to the world, to the consumer world, is how people think about Bermuda. And proud Bermudians want us to do a great job of telling the Bermuda story to the world, and we're making a concerted effort to do that in a realistic and authentic way.
Now, I'm glad you mentioned Bermudians because I saw in your program that was part of the plan. Are you interacting with other organizations to get Bermudians involved in the industry?
There's no question about it. And whether it's in our national standards training program that will train 400 frontline employees in the hospitality industry between now and the end of the year, or whether it's working with Bermuda Hospitality Institute in the schools to make sure that children in our school systems understand the value of the tourism economy and why it's not a bad idea to be an employee in an industry that can be upwardly mobile and it can be family sustaining. And I think we've kind of lost that a little bit, and we need to make sure that our children in Bermuda understand that the hospitality industry can be a career option for them.
Where does local entertainment fit into the equation?
Yeah, so it's a great question, and there's a lot of work underway right now. We're just structuring now an ad hoc group of around entertainment that includes entertainers themselves, the venues, and producers of entertainment. And we're going to go to work on it to improve the climate for Bermudian entertainers, which has not been healthy, as you know, for many years. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done there. And it's a very difficult challenge, but it's a challenge that we want to take on because we believe it's very important to reflecting an authentic Bermuda to our visitors that come here from around the world.
Now, the Hamilton and St. George's retailers are constantly looking at their docks for a sign of a cruise ship.
That's right.
What do you see in their future?
Yeah, so it's a very difficult challenge because of the fact that the whole industry has gone to the super ships, the mega ships that are able to be accommodated at dockyard, which is great, and we're glad that they're there because they do positively impact the economy. But we are on a global search to find smaller cruise vessels that can come alongside in either Hamilton or St. George's. And they're out there, but it's not an easy fit.
Mr. Hanbury stressed the impact on the America's Cup on Bermuda and summed it up with these words.
America's Cup thought long and hard about who ought to be the next venue for the 35th America's Cup. And they selected us because we had the best venue and the best management team. It wasn't about anything else other than the best venue and the best management team. So we got a lot of people working on this, a lot of really smart people and a lot of dedicated people. We know what needs to be done in order to execute, and we plan to do it.
The police are today seeking critical witnesses to the accident which claimed the life of Jeremy Combermack. Mr. Combermack was involved in a two-vehicle accident on the Middle Road, Warwick, on Monday at 7:50 a.m. And police are now specifically appealing to the driver and/or the occupants of a dark-colored motor car that was traveling in a westerly direction immediately behind the motor car involved in the collision with the motorcycle. The police deemed the driver and occupants as critical witnesses and need make contact with them. They are asked to contact Inspector Robert Cardwell on 247-1076 or R. Cardwell at BPS BPM. Inspector Cardwell has issued a statement in his capacity as responsible for the road policing unit.
Christmas and New Year period saw relatively good social behaviour and the exercise of responsibility as the community celebrated the festive season. However, the same cannot be said for responsible road use. 12 persons were arrested for impaired driving offences over the holiday period. Road traffic collisions occurred that have resulted in serious injury and the further loss of life. 16 lives have been lost on the roads in 2014, and 1 life has already been lost in 2015. The majority of collisions involving the loss of life have involved Bermudian men. Those men leave behind families including mothers, fathers, siblings, children, and other extended family members. 126 people in 2014 have been admitted to the King Edward Memorial Hospital with serious injuries as a result of collisions. These are people who have suffered injuries resulting in brain damage, paralysis, loss or amputation of a limb, and many other very serious injuries that will require an extensive period of rehabilitation in some cases that is lifelong. The Bermuda Police Service will continue its targeted approach to enforcement of traffic laws through the Selected Traffic Enforcement Program. However, enforcement alone cannot prevent future collisions and will not slow down the rate of deaths suffered on the roads. Collisions too often are entirely avoidable. Aggravating factors of bad behavior that include speed, alcohol consumption, and general inattention, or combinations of these factors, are usually present in collisions. There is evidence of a general disregard for proper driving behavior and a bad driving culture that must be reversed. Reversing the current trend will require the cooperation of every single road user.
And now we turn to Earl Baston with the latest report from the sports desk.
Yesterday, during VSB Sports Talk on 1450 AM Gold, we broke the story that reports around the UK are suggesting that Burnley Football Club are making a surprise move for Huddersfield Town's Naki Wells, a player who has been struggling to remain in the first 11 at Huddersfield. That, however, has not dissuaded Sean Dyche, the Burnley coach, who sees the Bermudian as a long-term replacement for Danny Ings to fit into the system currently played at Burnley. It was back in 2013 that Burnley were understood to be preparing an offer in excess of £1.4 million for then Bradford City striker Wells. Following the 10 Bermuda Football Association First and Premier Division matches, we can now bring you the updated standings and leading goal scorers for both divisions. In the Premier Division, it sees the Somerset Trojans and Hamilton Parish as the league leaders with 17 points each. The Trojans have a +2 goal leverage, while Parish are even. The PHC Zebras and Daventry Cougars are tied for third with 16 points each. Keston Lewis from the Flanagan's Onions, the league leading goal scorer with 10. Antoine Russell from Robin Hood has 9, while Shakir Smith from the PHC Zebras is in third with 6 goals. Clay Darrell from Dandytown Hornets has 5 goals on the season. The first division is currently being led by Daventry Coats on goal difference over the Boulevard Blazers. Both have 24 points. Daventry Colts have a goal difference of +29, while the Blazers are +23. Crossroads and Wolves are tied for third place with 18 points each. Ty Vince Douglas from the Boulevard Blazers is the league leading goal scorer with 13 goals. Kyle Jones from the Daventry Colts is in second with 12 goals. Ian Coates from the Boulevard Blazers has 11 goals on the season, and Lizandro Simons from the Daventry Colts has found the back of the net 9 times. Earl Gebby Hart will be honored later this year with the news that the Caribbean Union of Teachers will name a football tournament after him. Dwight Jackson from the Bermuda Union of Teachers explains how it all came about. Hart, who has been instrumental in helping many teachers around Bermuda and around the Caribbean, was also an integral member of the starting group of the Carifta Games. He said he was surprised by the honor. Krista Swanek has been ruled out of the 2015 Princess to Princess Road Race and the International Race Weekend activities due to a bug he has picked up. Swanek, speaking to VSB Sports yesterday, said, "I'm totally fine. There's nothing to be worried about. Just had a bug that knocked me back, and the recommendation is that I not go back into full training or racing mode until I take a few weeks easy to let the body heal properly." He goes on to say, "I've been down this road before where I came back too quickly and ended up digging myself too big of a hole to get out of, and it can ruin the whole season. Timing is unfortunate, but I am focused in on racing that are scheduled for April, May, and June." End quote. Aircraft manufacturer Airbus and Team Oracle, the defending champions of the America's Cup, have forged a technology partnership, with Airbus set to share the know-how of its engineers and experts in fields such as aerodynamics, instrumentation, and simulation. This is to help analyze to work with Team Oracle USA's design team. The Bermuda Amateur Swimming Association summary of long course records set by Bermuda swimmers for the calendar year January to December 2014 saw a total of 79 records broken that included 33 by male swimmers and 46 by female swimmers. 29 age group records and 4 Bermuda records were set by males, and 42 age group records and 4 Bermuda records by the females. The top male swimmer was Jessie Washington with 15 records, while Emma Harvey was the top female with 22 records. These long course events covered the Carifta in Aruba, the inaugural long course national championships at the National Sports Center, the Caribbean Island Swimming Championships in Barbados, Canadian Age Group Championships in Winnipeg, the Youth Olympics in Beijing, China, Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, and the Central American and Caribbean Games in Veracruz, Mexico. George Washington upended Jason Shrub and his 14th ranked Bates men's squash team 5-4. Senior Bates swept John Bassett 3-0, playing in the number 7 spot. Shrub won the first game 11-3 and then won the second game 11-6 before closing out the match, winning the third set 11-7, but he could not prevent his team from going down. In Freeze and Brookmire Continental Bowling League action at the Work Lanes last evening, it saw the Pin Splitters defeat Cricky Licky Laundry 21.5 to 8.5. The Spice Snakes got by the Pin Jammers 21-9. The Nifty Rollers defeated the Invaders 18-12, while New Hope defeated the Oddballs 18-12. And Bermuda Pest Control defeated the Cubs 17-13. I'm Earl Baston reporting for VSB sports.
Looking at the weather for Wednesday, January the 7th, there will be a sunny breaks with a shower or two, increasing overnight winds, west-southwesterly, moderate to strong, increasing west-southwesterly, strong with occasional gusts to gale force by noon, varying westerly overnight. We are expecting a high near 73 and a low near 68. This weather report is courtesy of the Bermuda Weather Service. Thanks for watching Vsb News Online for Tuesday, January the 6th. I'm Charles Webb.